If you overlook this one thing this week, specifically on Wednesday, you could get absolutely smoked in the markets if you're not managing your risk. Now, as you will see as we go through the charts this week, everything looks bullish on the surface, and indeed it does. However, there are subtle nuances and subtle signs that tell us that we should be cautious and especially manage our risk, per usual, but this week in particular. Why this week in particular? That thing on Wednesday is the Supreme Court rulings on tariffs. If tariffs are rolled back and it deems Trump not being able to do what he did, that money's probably going to actually will have to be paid back. We are kind of thinking that this could lead to a pretty significant decline in the markets overall, maybe 20, 30-ish%. We don't think that is out of the question, definitely possible. So we need to be very mindful of this. We also have other news coming this week. I'm going to open up economic calendar, trading economics for you. So on Tuesday, we have core inflation. The inflation numbers came back last time, were actually pretty decent. And they were better than anticipated. Then we also have PPI on Wednesday as well. But really, the overruling thing this week is the Supreme Court rulings. Also, this week, we get into earnings. We start with banks. Shout out earnings whispers. Tuesday, we have JPM. Wednesday, we have Citi, Wells Fargo. And then Thursday, we have Morgan Stanley. And we also have PNC, M&T Bank on Friday. So here are the earnings coming up this week as we start earnings seasons. Be on your toes. I would not hold any names into binary events like that. You can get smoked. It's part of risk management 101. I do not recommend it, as I do not do it myself. All right, let's get into the charts for the week. S&P 500. This is the cash index of it right now. Let me pop on the daily. You can see it looks pretty good. It's closing at all-time highs. We have this ascending triangle pattern, if you will. You can see that we are indeed creating higher lows and higher highs. Overall, this looks good. The trend is up. It's breaking out. We're at all-time highs. I wouldn't be shocked if we got some sort of supply. People take money, ring the cash register at all-time highs. That's perfectly normal. It's perfectly healthy. As long as the trend stays intact, the trend is your friend. So we are trading on the long side at the moment. Let's look at the equally weighted S&P 500. I mentioned this in my video last week. We kind of had another retest of the breakout area, and we just kind of launched from there. The trend is up. We have a breakout retest times 2. Maybe you can call it, actually, I think you can call it a double bottom of this 190-ish area, 191. And we continue to trend higher. So the overall market, this takes out the weight of the heavyweights, the top 10 in the S&P 500, which we will go over in this video also, per usual. This takes the heavy weight out of those 10 names and equalizes it across the board. Let's move on to the NASDAQ. Now, this is the subtle nuance that I am talking about. Tech, it makes up, where did it go? Oh, let me go to XLK real quick. Tech makes up 34.4%. This is a new weighting as of this month of the S&P 500, and makes up a huge percent of the NASDAQ as well. So my point is, if tech is lagging, which NASDAQ basically is tech, it gives us caution to lean heavy on longs. Now, this area here is pretty obvious. Let me adjust that real quick. This 25,800 level, this has been tagged 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on, let's just say Friday was the 6th time. The more times you test the level, the more likely it's going to break. So are we going to get a breakout from this level here, this 25,800? Yes, most likely. Are we going to tag all-time highs? We're only 1.6% away from it. Yes, most likely. That 26,182, spot 10. We're probably going to tag all-time highs relatively soon. However, to continue the trend overall, we need tech with being 34.4% of the overall S&P 500. We need tech to help lead that. And right now, it's actually kind of lagging. So that's the nuance that I think you need to be cautious of. tech really just is not the place to be at this point in time. Here's the equally weighted, so similar to the RSP, equally weighted S&P 500. This is the equally weighted NASDAQ 100. Just kind of chopping around in range. We could have a higher low set versus this low on January, and then we break out. It looks like that's going to happen. We made a new high here, so looks pretty good. Dow continues to trend upwards. IWM hitting all-time highs. We want to zoom out here. I'll show you the weekly, right? We're in blue sky territory for the Russell 2000 ETF, just like blue sky territory for the S&P 500. So things are looking good. We have a little wedge that it broke out. I would expect continuation over these next few weeks, depending again on what happens with the ruling of the Supreme Court on Wednesday. There's the cash index. Let's look at XLB. We have a little cup rounding bottom here. Breakout retest, and now it's pushing higher. Here are the top 3 names per usual that are in this ETF. XLC looks pretty decent. It's shaping up. It's staying within a consolidation here. Top 3 names: Meta, Google. Netflix is no longer up there. I just have it because I trade it frequently. I took a short in it this week. I'll go over that shortly. But either way, Google is looking good. It's shaping up nicely. Meta is kind of consolidating here. So if we get Meta to move, XLC is going to move. Energy got a nice pump from the Venezuela news last week, but it quickly sold off. However, there's been reports of increased activity when it comes to, I guess, violence is the right word, across different countries. So we got a nice little pump of it. I do think XLE is in play overall. We got Exxon, Chevron, and ConocoPhillips. Those are the main 3 drivers of this. Financials are also in play. You can see we got a breakout, retest × 2. We created another high, and now this here is a potential higher low that was made on January 8th. We're only 1.39% away from all-time highs, so looks good. XLI looks good as well. 8% of the S&P 500. Here are the top 3 names there. XLK, I said it earlier. This is, we have like a little wedge pattern here. The EMAs, they are in decision mode. We're holding the anchor VWAP from this low, which is nice. However, if I just delete this real quick, make this easier for you to see, we're not doing anything. Especially over the last 2 weeks, we have just been in this box here, beep bopping around. So if we get a breakout, and again, 34.4% of the S&P 500, if we get a breakout in tech, that's probably going to push the overall market up. Where tech goes, the market goes, most of the time, I should say. So we would like tech to help do that. Otherwise, right now, tech is not the trade. XLP, nice little push here. We do have a higher low versus this. We have a higher high versus here. We could probably set back up, get a little pullback, create a higher low versus this low, and maybe get a continuation. But overall, it's not super interesting, just chopping. XLRE, not interesting. Utilities continues its downtrend. Here are the top 3 names here. I would not long this personally right now. It is at the 200 EMA. It's, it did close above it after spending some time, but it's got a pretty solid topping tail at the 20 EMA. These are downtrending. Not super interesting. XLV, I do think this is in play. This is still creating higher highs and higher lows. Here are the top 3 names: Eli Lilly, Johnson & Johnson, and AbbVie. So when these 3 move, this moves, right? So I can educate a guess if I go on Eli Lilly right now. We probably had some selling the past couple of days, right? There it is right there. So I would look at those correlations if you're not familiar with them. Let's look at XLY. Amazon and Tesla, they move XLY. Home Depot actually also had a very strong week here. So this also helped push XLY up, as Tesla isn't really doing anything right now. It's actually kind of getting hit. It had a nice move on Friday. We'll go over that shortly. Amazon looks pretty good, which we'll go over shortly as well. Let's look at the Bitcoin ETF. It hit these prior supply areas again and again, found prior supply. So I don't know if it's ready to continue on higher. Otherwise, it might just continue to chop around in this range here that it is in at the moment. Let me draw that for you for a second. I would say kind of this area here. If this breaks lower, I still think down here, 43 for that. We can go to actual Bitcoin in itself. It's just consolidating in this range here. If that breaks, I still think 75, let's just call it, is still possible. Semiconductors, nope, XBI, that's next. Kind of consolidating, ran the highs, closed back in the range. It still looks pretty good. It has 148 names in it that are pretty equally weighted, so I don't have a list here. Let's go to SMH. This had a very strong week. NVIDIA's not doing anything. AVGO, Broadcom, isn't really doing anything. The name that's really moving this is Taiwan Semiconductors. This looks great. It had a nice breakout here. Came back for, this is just a quick drawing here, came back for a retest, price correction to the 8 EMA, and now we had an inside day here. This looks like it's going higher after creating a nice shorter to moderate term base. I would be open to trades here, personally. Let's move on to gold. Gold looks pretty solid as well. Nice base. Probably going to go retest these highs. There's an argument for AI and tech development that metals are extremely important, especially gold, in particular silver as well, for the build out. So there is a commodity need, and I think that's what's keeping the bid on commodities itself, especially if you trade futures. They have been relatively challenging to manage risk against, but these names here might give you an opportunity to catch the commodity trade. Here are the top 3 names. For GDX, again, looking good, looking solid. SLV retesting these highs here again. This has been very hard to trade, very gappy. I don't trade this a lot, but I do trade silver futures if the risk is manageable. Let's move on to the heavyweights. Really, this is tech. And as you're going to see, not much is really going on, which is why not much is going on in XLK, which is why the NDX NASDAQ 100 cash index is kind of lagging. So not a lot's going on here. Microsoft, it's still chopping around the 200, still chopping around in this zone. It's starting to shape up. So ideally, this is a base that it starts to curl up and then it goes higher. But if it does break these lows, I mean, it can go lower. Maybe it would even target this 426 where this gap is. But until that happens, I'm not preparing for it. It's hands off. It's not doing anything. NVIDIA, I was watching for this 186.50 area to hold. We broke it. We have a nice little inside day here. This could be a quote unquote 3-bar play, but maybe not. Either way, I'm not super interested now until it gets back into this range, shapes up, maybe even breaks into these highs to go retest. I'm not interested in a short. I'm not interested in a long. I'm just not interested in video with that look right now. Apple's got hit. I do think the gap fill is a potential here. I was calling that last week. We almost tagged the gap, but the fill is at 253.38. We're underneath the 50 EMA. The short-term EMAs are downtrending. The 200 EMA is around 245.50 or so, right by this prior support area. So that could even be target. I am not interested in longing Apple right now. I'm not really even interested in shorting Apple. Amazon, this one's one of the ones that is actually perking up. It's this zone here, popped out of it, failed, retested the range. Now it's creating higher lows and it broke out of it again. I do think this is in play. This is shaping up on internal personal indicators here. What I would look for personally is a price correction to come down to the short-term EMA, or a time correction, a little consolidation, and then breaks and goes higher and it can retest that 250. So Amazon is looking decent, maybe later on this week, maybe after the ruling. Broadcom, just kind of chopping around in this range, nothing special. Meta, nothing special. I'm still watching for that earnings gap. This still continues to drive me nuts. We have an anchored VWAP from this low here that price continues to tag and respect. It undercuts it and gets bought. So there is a bid here in this 645 to 635 area. My apologies. And so we'll see. If that breaks, maybe we go retest the lows again. But until that happens, it's just kind of sitting. Netflix, I did take a short here last week. I entered short here on Tuesday, never got tagged out. I covered on Thursday, of course, right before it moves. But I didn't want to be in a position with the Supreme Court rulings that was supposed to come out on Friday, which did not. So I kind of closed out my position on Thursday because it could have dropped at any point in time. Just part of risk management. It is what it is. But I am still looking for a short position here. I would retake the short. Everything still lines up for that. Tesla is getting hit a little bit. However, this could be a higher low. This is the first pullback after breaking out of this consolidation area. So it looks pretty decent. Honestly, I'm not mad about it. What I would like personally is for it to reclaim the 20 EMA at least, and then we can continue on higher. I still think this is a name you need to look for throughout the year because this will be a play. I think this will be a playable name throughout the year, and I think it is setting up for it now. Even if we look the weekly here, it tagged all-time highs, had a nice pullback, and then we maybe are hitting a higher low here. We will find out. Google is going to be a market leader. It printed all-time highs this week. It closed at all-time highs on the weekly, that is. And so this looks good. I am looking for entries here. I'm kind of waiting and making sure that my personal indicators are telling me, hey, that it's time to go. It's actually healthy to enter, but this looks great. So Google looks good. Tesla's a potential. CrowdStrike, this is, I was calling for a gap fill a couple of weeks ago. We got that gap fill. What happens here? I'm not sure. Maybe we head lower. My educated guess is we head lower. Either way, we can continue to chop around sideways as well. Now, I put out a target. I think this target is right here, this 136 to 137 area or so. I think it's going to get hit. Maybe we find some support. I'm not in the short, but this looks lower. Palantir, we'll see if this is a higher low versus this low here. Ideally, we break out, continue to make higher highs. Otherwise, Palantir, again, not really doing anything. Hood just continues to chop around in this wedge. This has been hard to trade. I haven't been trading it. I don't know how you guys are trading it, if you are trading it. But this is just challenging. So there's tech. There's really not much to do. Again, Microsoft not doing anything. NVIDIA not interested. Apple getting hit. I mean, maybe we have a bounce play in Apple. Amazon is really the only interest maybe this week. Let's say Amazon long, Netflix short, Tesla long, Google long, but really maybe CrowdStrike could be a short if we break these lows, making lower lows. Really, there's not much to do. So now would probably still be a good short as long as your risk to reward, your R&R is worth it. That's going to sum up this week. Hopefully this is valuable for you guys. Do your homework, prepare, ask questions, comment below, share, like, subscribe, all the good stuff. I would like to hear your guys' thoughts, opinions, ideas, or if you guys see things differently. Otherwise, trade well, manage your risk. Make sure you have your risk managed for the ruling this week, especially on Wednesday in particular. Trade well. Later.